very important and often misunderstood topic. Can F1s and H1 visa holders seek political asylum in the United States? So we'll also explore the pros and cons, the consequences of taking this step. So, you being the expert in the US immigration law, we would be very happy to seek more insights from you. So, to start with, could you please explain what political asylum means under the US immigration law?
See, one need to understand. I mean, this is, of course, in educational purposes we are talking, not as an expert, because in US, if you want to be an expert, you have to get a license to be an expert. Just in information purposes, there's what is the meaning of a refugee and what is the meaning of asylum? Asylum is, anybody who comes into the country when they have a fear of persecution back home because of their race, because of this and their nationality, because they belong to certain social class, and their opinion, because of their opinion, sometimes even religion. For example, when you see recently in Bangladesh, a lot of Hindu temples and Hindu, Krishna consciousness priests have been attacked in Bangladesh. Similar thing in Pakistan and many countries, they target Hindus. I mean, if you see again, Palestine Muslims who are there in Israel and who are Jewish people in Palestine, things like that, because of the religion, there's a persecution. And sometimes, if you belong to certain class of people, certain social group, or even opinion, if you see, it goes back to India. I mean, few years ago, because same-sex, were not allowed. There was an unnatural offense in India. If you see, that was non-bailable. But if you see now, because India also recognizes, same-sex associations or even marriages, they don't recognize, but people live together. Things like that. If you're coming from certain sexual orientation or things like that, they have been persecuted, they've been killed, and things like that. If you see that same thing in Middle East, if you see in Muslim countries, if you are talking about lesbian or gay or having same-sex relationship, they could even kill you, and you cannot practice that, even in some Muslim countries like Pakistan, another thing. So if you belong to certain class of people, or because of your opinion, or because of your sexual orientation, or even certain religious backgrounds, or sometimes even certain political organizations, if you see back in India, 20 years ago, if you're from Naxal movement, Naxal Bari, they declared you as an extremist and they were killing. The government was persecuting them. So things like that because of your opinion. So people who have such things, if you have a fear when you want to go back, that's asylum. That you can apply for an asylum. And the refugees are people who are outside the country. They go in the refugee camps under the human rights. They get refugee status and they can come into the country.